this, but I got up late because I was having trouble sleeping because there was a homeless guy outside my window this morning. Um, so everything's running a little bit behind today. Also, it's a little slow right now. This is a weird time to actually be able to have time to actually do one of these YouTube lives. I had an actual decent week considering that the market was saturated. I think a lot of football, definitely a lot of grocery orders. I think the colder weather has really kind of pushed some of this business my way. And I guess it's kind of fitting this morning because Mondays are one of two ways. They're usually either really busy because people didn't order all their groceries on Sunday, so they would order it on Monday. And also, it's raining outside for the first time in probably 3 months. So I would have actually expected it to be busier at this point, but c'est la vie. So I'm trying to figure out if it was a Reddit post or I was watching some videos or maybe it was just watching other dashers out there. But it's always so hard to tell where to plant yourself because you don't know if the hot spot is really where you're at or whether it's 4 miles west or 2 miles east. You don't know. I mean, you get these notices on your phone and they could be accurate. They may not be accurate. And so you're left, kind of spitting in the wind because you don't know if the location you're at is where all the work is. You don't know if you're going to get all the offers here or whether all the offers are 2 miles north or 2 miles west. You don't know. And then by then, you're just deciding, do I sit here and wait for orders to show up or do I move to the other, part of town and try and see if there's deliveries there? And the real answer is that there's no answer. It's all a guess. Usually what I do is I will give an area about 10 minutes before I decide to move on. And if I don't see anything in 10 minutes, I'll just move somewhere else, regardless of whether the hot spots are there or not. So, because there's no sense in sitting in one spot, for too long, because you could just be sitting in a dead zone somewhere. So why would you do that? I think in some ways it's better to just, if for no other reason, it keeps your mind active to, if you're in the one spot, if you're not getting anything, then you move to another spot. At least it keeps your head in the game. And I guess the next part I want to talk about is, yes, the multi-appers. So I did multi-apping when I first started doing delivery. Oh, that looks like I'm getting a delivery call. Great. That's just great timing. I'll just let it go for now. I'll eat the cost. I probably should have turned it off. The multi-appers, they have 2 phones or 3 phones, and they're carrying them in wherever they're at, and, they're monitoring all their phones. And I always, and after being one of these original multi-appers back in like 2014, when I did Postmates and I did Caviar, I all I got was anxious. And I mean, you're looking at one phone, you're looking at the other phone. If you get an order for one and then you get an order for the other, you know, you're always afraid you're going to screw things up by taking the one, and then you're looking at your other phone. It's like, this one's not ready and this one is ready. And you're deciding, do I cancel on this one or do I take this one? And all these things are running through your head when you're multi-apping. And I decided, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to do one app. I do one app at a time. I don't do 2 apps anymore. I don't do 3 apps. You know what? And those of you that can multi-app and do it well, and you're not screwing up your service, you're not late on anything, you don't get yourself deactivated or get yourself in trouble with whichever company you're working for, great. I'm glad you can do that. Me, I can't do that anymore. And you see all these things and I was looking at a video last night. There was a person who did the multi-app. He made $10,000 in a month. And he kind of exposed himself as to how many hours he was working. He was working 98 hours a week, which is bonkers. I mean, I work 60 hours a week, and that's a lot. He said he was working 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. And I believe he was using 4 different apps. I don't know how you do this and keep your head on straight. I think it was, I'm trying to think of which ones it was. It was DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and it was, I think, one of the package ones, either like Shipt or Amazon Flex or something like that. But I don't know how you would keep 4 apps straight. I mean, you better be real good at multitasking, because I would be so afraid if I screwed up, somebody's order. If I had somebody's lunch and I had somebody's grocery shopping order, and then, I had a package to pick up, and prioritizing which one needs to go first and hoping that the other 2 aren't going to be late. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. I mean, I would rather concentrate on one app at a time, trying to get the orders done right on time. Because what good does it do? What good does it do? I mean, you're chasing all this extra money. Great. You're trying to get the $8,000 or $9,000 or $10,000 a month. That's great, I guess. But look at the anxiety and stress you're putting yourself in. I mean, all you're doing is you're driving yourself crazy for what? An extra $500 a week? Is it really worth it? I mean, I don't know how you guys cope with all the stuff that's going on in your head while you're trying to do 3 different apps. And if you manage to do it without, driving yourself nuts or taking some artificial means to make yourself, feel good enough to do these deliveries, great. I mean, do what you got to do, but I can't do that. Maybe I'm just older, and maybe I just see how hard it is on your mental health to do multi-apps. I do okay. I make decent money, especially for a saturated market. I do fine. I'm not making 100,000 a year, and if you're making 100,000 a year at this, great. I don't think most of you are. I think probably if you make $100,000 a year, your mental health must be just off the charts crazy. Because I don't know how it wouldn't be. Because to make $100,000 a year doing, gig economy delivery stuff, you're probably somewhere between 90 and 100 hours a week, which means you better be single. Or you're not seeing your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your spouse, you're not seeing anybody. All you're seeing is the road from you behind the wheel. I mean, that's all you're seeing. So I think you know what? I think the people that do this 5 to 10 hours a week, I think they have it best because they work their regular job and this is just casual time for them. They just make a little money just to, get them by. I think those people have it best. Because it's low stress for them. For the people like me that do this full time, which is a small amount, 5% of people do this full time. Out of the 12 or 13 million people that do this, 5% do it full time and then some. So for the rest of them, it's all casual time. They're doing their stuff, they're making their money, they're not thinking about it. It's the rest of us that do this full time that get heightened levels of anxiety and stress. So be careful with the multi-apps because you may make more money, but you'll pay for it in another way. So I think I'm going to call it good. I gave up an order to finish doing this, so the app paused itself anyway. So thank you very much. Hopefully I'll be on time tomorrow. Thank you.